Thank you so much for being here. We are so blessed at LongHouse to have Jill and Talking with Trees and what she magically did and her incredible team who you will meet in our forest and other places of the garden. And Jill, thank you so much for being here. And Sally, this is Sally Singer, who is here with us to celebrate. I'm Mary Gale. I'm the head of collections and exhibitions here at LongHouse. I just could never have imagined a more dream come true for me. Jill has been one of my closest, dearest friends for probably 35 years. Somehow the stars aligned and we both ended up here at LongHouse. And it's just been really dreamy beyond and magical. And so I just want to introduce you to Jill and introduce you to Sally Singer. Sally is a dear friend of Jill's. She is the president of Art and Commerce. And before that, she was head of fashion for Amazon and the creative director for a long time for Vogue. So Jill and Sally are going to have an amazing chat, and you guys are welcome to have questions anytime. We have refreshments back there. We're going to just talk a little bit in the pavilion, and then we're going to get out as quick as possible and walk over through to Jill's exhibition. So here we go.
Do we hold this or do we? Oh, no.
We both hold these.
Oh. Hi. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. Thank you for coming out today. And neither Jill or I like public speaking, so it's an interesting duo to have a conversation on stage. And I imagine that most of you know Jill from her jewelry, both men and women, because you have a business that miraculously does both very well. Jill's been known for her jewelry since she was a student at Parsons doing metalwork in the metalwork division, and she would, I hear, rollerblade or inline skate, I think she prefers, around New York City in a catsuit, and people would stop her, I guess, without toppling over, and buy the jewelry off her neck and off her fingers. And in fact, Mary Gale is wearing a piece that her then boyfriend accosted Jill on the streets of Tribeca and purchased from her. At the same time that she was doing this and studying at Parsons, she was learning to weld from people who actually welded things in Tribeca, when Tribeca was a place where people who welded things could still afford to weld things. And this was at a space near her then boyfriend's restaurant, Bobby, which is a fabulous restaurant. He's no longer involved with it. He lives somewhere else. And so in this miraculous downtown New York where people could A, rollerblade in catsuits, B, sell their jewelry off their bodies, 3, learn to do actual manual arts and weld, Jill's career began. And before she even graduated, she'd sold her first collection to Barney's, which at that point was both a huge feat and a kind of rite of passage for the coolest brands that would sort of come to define luxury fashion in New York, probably for the, starting from the 90s into the 2000s. And it's a truly remarkable thing to have started an independent business at that time and be thriving today in fashion. I know we're not here to talk about fashion, but as someone who's covered it a long time, that in itself is a remarkable, remarkable feat. It's not, truly extraordinary. And it's, I think, in part because you don't see yourself first and foremost as a jeweler, you see yourself as a maker. Mm-hmm. And in that regard, your work as a sculptor and a maker, and your work as someone who makes for the body, is one and the same. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you've just happened to make 65 pieces that are now all in the trees. So with that, I'd just like, could you explain to people what they're about to walk through and see a little bit, and where it started for you, this particular project?
Well, my sculpture practice has been part of my world since I began. I always worked large and small, and so I often get sort of not tied down, but by running the business and the jewelry and everything I have to do to keep everything moving, and so I have to really commit time and say, I'm doing this, everyone in the business, and like this is happening now, so get ready for me to disappear. I can't help you for the next months. So I try to do that like throughout, kind of a couple times a year, and really dedicate time to my sculpture practice. And a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I started working in just working in copper, which I've worked in for many years, but I just started making some shapes, and something clicked in how I was forming them, and how I decided I wanted to put them together. And I was like, oh, okay, I have to go. I got to keep moving on this. I got to keep moving. And like, and it really started, I just kept it going, and really kept pushing and not stopping creating that work. And so the past 3 years I've been making, and they've been hanging out in my apartment, like just there'll be like another one, and then friends will come over and be like, holy shit, Jill, like you're like what's going on, like they're multiplying. And so I really wanted to be able to show them together, and not really, I just wanted them to be presented in a very special venue together. And we got to, Mary Gail and I got to talking, and just everything kind of clicked. And it was like I met with Mary Gail and Carrie last year from LongHouse, and I was just, we all were like, yes, we're doing this, and we're doing this. And that's how it happened.
At what point, there's 65 in the trees, right? At what point did you know you had a collection or a group that then you would fill out more? When did it start to take shape for you as a?
Probably a couple of years ago, because I remember talking to Rick and my dear friends and team who I've worked closely with for years, Rick and Mickey and Bob, and being like, being like, this is what's happening here. Like, what do you think? And I just kept. So once I had like 25 or 30, I was like, oh, something is, and I didn't want to stop. I didn't have any inclination that the work was complete in any way. It was really, I was just like, I really want to push this. So many of the initial smaller pieces I knew were sketches to go larger. So I started many multiples of smaller pieces to figure out details and forms and shapes to keep increasing size and scale. And so
you have a massive one in your studio, right? I feel like there's one that's really was too big to move.
Yeah.
And you had worked in steel before, largely for your sculpture. What drew you to copper?
I started in steel because that's what I learned. That's how I learned to weld. And I was in my 20s, and it was the most inexpensive material. And but then when I realized that it couldn't go outside and it needed to go outside, I was like, oh, this has to change. So I moved to bronze and copper.
And can you talk a little bit about how, I was surprised to learn that these are all free form. You're going to see a lot of things that look like ribbons, but they're not done around molds, but they're wonderfully symmetrical.
They're all hand formed. Well, I work on one shape together, and when I'm in kind of the mindset of a particular form, once I hit a form, I can't be interrupted. I have to kind of keep moving on that form in order to have the fluidity of the whole piece. So I prepare a bunch of blanks, basically, which will allow me to mold a particular shape that I might be thinking of or working on, and really continue it. So it's like a very meditative practice.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And how do you think that these forms relate to the jewelry? Do they relate at all, or do you see these as totally in the same time period? Have they been very different aesthetic practices for you?
I think the past couple of years they've been related. I started with these sculptures, and then I moved back into jewelry and made a bunch of forms that were related, and then I jumped back into the sculptures. So they've kind of always been related because it's all from my hands and my body, you know, my mind.
So much work, actually. That's what I thought when I saw the pieces. So much physical work has gone into making so many pieces.
Yeah.
After this series, will you take a little break from sculpture, or are you? Does it feel like completing like a novel or a sort of large piece?
No.
No.
No. I mean, I feel like there's many more I want to make. I probably will need like a little restorative break, but not a break like let's stop this, or let's. It's really a practice that is. I mean, I like to keep doing it too because it keeps my hands and my body and my mind. It's like muscle memory, and like it keeps me really fluid in the making. So I like to keep on committing to it.
Cool. You work. I don't know if how many of you are aware of Jill's store in New York City, but it's part of a building that you first rented and then you purchased, and it was the site of the first female physician in New York time in the 19th century building. It was Franklin Delano Roosevelt's.
It was initially FDR's great-grandfather's
home. How, I know this building is, and the sort of reworking of this building, or the unearthing of this building has been super important to your life and vision and everything. Well, how do you think your work would be different if you hadn't been there? How do you think it's changed your work to be in that building? Because it has a lot of spirits, this place.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I think the combination of the love in the space that from me, from years of history. It's 200 years old, so it's really old. And also, when I first started making sculpture, it was much larger scale, and I borrowed friends' studios, or I set up studios in other places, and it was like kind of a bummer, like setting up, like ran electrical lines to friends' barns so that I could weld and like run these giant bandsaws and stuff like that, and it was like, okay, project's over now. We just set up a studio, and now it's done. And so I've always just wanted to be able to do everything in-house, and that is part of the freedom of these pieces, as well as that I can do them at any time, because the setup, I can leave them there. It's still there when I don't have to close it up. So that's been really super freeing too.
To live with your work. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I had one other question around that, which is that you do have this very core team, and Bob and Mickey and Rick, and Bob in particular has been instrumental to what you're about to see, because the show's called what, Talking with Trees? Conversation with Trees? He actually just talked his way as he climbed up all the trees to put these things. I mean, he literally has talked to some trees.
Yeah.
And how as a team do you work together in creating what we're about to see? How does that work for you? And if you could explain a little bit of your process, and even installing and making this show.
Well, Mickey and Bob and I have worked together for at least 20 years on many different kinds of projects, but lots of also bigger projects. And we have a thing together that the three of our brains and spirits and everything come together, and we just sort of like and we have very big dreams, and we can make really big things happen, and we figure it out, and there's always roadblocks, and we're like, well, what if we do that? And then we're like, okay, yeah. And so we just make magic happen together.
Beautiful.
Can we point them out?
Yes, can you, like, hello? Vicky, Bob, Rick, stand up, please.
Yeah, stand up. Woo! Ricardo.
Ricky,
Woo!
Rick.
Ricky, Rick. Ricky, Rick.
Stand up.
Woo!
And I have to ask the last question. Do you have a favorite?
No, I really love them all. I'm a little attached to some of the first pieces because I can see the beginning of my process.
You've done one for Jack Larson and one for Peter. Can you say something about those two and where you put them?
I think after talking extensively with Mary Gale and the crew here at LongHouse and learning about Jack Larson and his vision and this incredible space and what he's created, it just certain pieces just feel right for certain areas, and we had a tour of the house, and it's so just beyond incredible what he has done, and there's a space upstairs where there's a window, and Jason, who is an integral part of this keeping this place moving and running and all the magic that happens here, he was like, no, you can't sit at that desk, but that's where Jack sat every day. And we were all like, ding, like Mickey, Bob, and I were like, okay, so something has to go there, because we saw the tree outside, and we were like, that he needs something there to look out his window.
And then Peter's is just over here.
Peter is Jack's husband, and so he needed his husband there too, so they could chit chat.
Well, do you guys want to take a walk now and see all 65 of these?
I just want to say one more thing.
Go for it.
It's, I think my whole career in is partially because of my community, like Brooke and Josh, and Sharon, and just my dear people, Mary Gale, and just people that have just been with me the whole time. Olivia, yeah. Rebecca, just jumping in and being like, yeah, and seeing the vision, and really, because I think being an independent artist in business it's, as you said, is very difficult.
It's very difficult, yeah. Also, you're so inspiring. You inspire people to want to come aboard, and all of this work, it's never one person who does it. It always takes a community to make something this monumental.
Yeah.
And even this, even again, the monumental act of having an independent business at any length of time in the world that you work in, it's an extraordinary thing to do. So, on that note, this whole village has got to go find 65 sculptures in trees.
This piece was kind of one of the more recent ones where I started riveting the pieces, so you can see how they're kind of squeezed there. So it changes the way the piece looks and the way it moves a little bit.
It's also like when you first saw this tree.
Yeah.
This
Oh
is
yeah.
the process. Like
Yeah.
You see the trees, and then some trees stand out, but some
Yeah.
might not. And this was definitely like,
Oh yeah.
something's gonna go there.
In a really special.
Yeah.
This to me is I love this piece
Yeah.
and
And that's like the whole installation was like talking with trees. Like we just
yeah.
didn't put just randomly wherever.
Yeah.
It was like very thoughtfully chosen places and measured to inches.
Yes.
So like measuring, how many inches you want to drop down and all of that. So it's not, it's very intentional.
Very
Yeah.
considered. Yeah. Yeah. Each piece and where you see it has been thought through for many, 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 many months.
And discuss with the trees themselves.
Yes, discuss with the trees.
It has been a conversation.
Yes. And Mickey and I, Bob is on the ladder. Mickey and I are looking from all different angles and how they talk to other pieces, how they talk to other trees. And we're like, higher Bobby, lower Bobby, higher Bobby, lower Bobby. Move it up the branch, Bobby. And then we get it, mark it, and we take it, and we would take it all back to our friend Mickey's house and have all the the splicing and the stitching and the
When you talk about the weaving, which part is woven? You're talking about the way
the cord. Each one is very specific as to the thickness of the cord, and it's a technique called splicing that where the cord goes back into itself.
Jill, what's the cord made of? What's the?
It's a fabric.
Synthetic?
Yeah, it's synthetic.
It's not solution dyed acrylic though. The outer.
No, but it is. It will last a very long time. It's a marine cord. This tree we were all so inspired with when we first came out here, because I mean, look at it. Look at all those branches. Yeah. And so we kind of had these studio names for all the trees and this and the areas, and this we call the greeter tree, because it really greets you to this area. It's like, welcome. Yeah.
This is just really big. You know what else I like? Just that little metal, the jewelry touch up there, that metal. The clasp is.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. So nice. Bless you.
Which way are we going?
I feel like we should go. Sure. I don't know. There's so many ways to go. We can go. Should we ask the silent sage? Should we ask the director? Oh wow! Look at his patina. Look at his patina. Oh wow!
Yeah.
What's going on?
You know, they're different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Of admiring it and like seeing it and like realizing there's something so delicate like this.
Yeah, you don't really, it's
There's a piece that is sort of secretly very high above. There's a teeny piece up there in a high branch that is the smallest piece in the show and has kind of the biggest personality, and was also the last piece almost the last piece we installed. And we wanted him to be in the bamboos, but we couldn't figure out how to get him in the bamboos and have him have just a lot of complications. And so this we ended up installing above the bamboos, and Bob hoisted himself up, climbed up this, rope walked up a rope through the bamboos, and he lives above the bamboos. And it's a really funny piece because he's kind of silly and he's sort of like, we have a lot of funny stories about him, like he's sort of like a joker and he's kind of overseeing everything, and he's like the smallest but he's in the highest tree. So yeah, he's cute, and he's also a surprise. No one, no one would really think to look that high to see the smallest piece.
Which is true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
It's kind of a little joker. Yeah. This is a recent install. Recent install. Oh, those are.
They're like the birds.
Yeah, those are birdie shaped. When I made them, I felt they were just very bird-like, beak-like.
so beautiful and poetic and just gorgeous.
And they really chat with each other. They're really like,
I mean, there's so much.
it's like they are. They're really, but they're so subtle, so they're not in your face. Right. They'll move if it's a windy day, they move, and all of a sudden they're all their direction changes, and they're all facing a different direction. It's pretty,
my God.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, it's very,
So you're going to carry on with these for a while.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, look at this one. Now, did somebody trim it or just doing it?
My friend spun it.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
yeah, Rick spun it.
See, there was a little.
This piece is called Night Owl, and we, right when we were installing it, an owl swooped down we were like, that was an owl. That's crazy.
Do you find these big pieces like more difficult to work on, particularly because it looks like you're working with like such thick, big pieces of metal?
It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
It's like more challenging for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like physically challenging at all?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. My hands have gotten like bigger and stronger. I'm like, yeah. Oh, this is really cool in here to come and see. Oop. They were the same shape as this. I was like, what? This is just like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I did make this for the Redwoods, but I didn't know what the Redwood leaf, I wasn't like, let me make a Redwood leaf.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. I know. That was a very,
Gravity is such a part of it.
yeah.
It's like this, because trees have this verticality, and the gravity, the piece has this return to the earth kind of energy. My
It does.
humble
No,
opinion.
it does. It does.
So who's going to show up?
I know.
Ava,
Hi. How
Nice
are
to
you?
meet
Nice
you.
to meet
originally
you.
from Norway, but she lives in Bridgehampton.
Amazing.
And
We're
that's Brooke.
neighbors.
Oh, that's so great. Oh,
I really enjoy seeing your work.
oh,
It's wonderful.
oh, thank you.
I love the way they move, even if it's just a little.
Mhm, mhm. This one also has the rivets, so it's kind of closed together.
I didn't know that there was a change in the kind of assembly.
me a little bit about what we just experienced? What's the name of your exhibit, and a little more about it?
My name is Jill Platner. The exhibition that we just saw is called Talking with Trees, and it's compiled of 65 sculptures that I've been working on for the past 3 years, and they're all speckled through this redwood grove and different areas of the redwood grove, and they're really each piece that you see is very considered for each tree and the way every direction that you're walking from or looking from, and how they integrate with each other, and how they, for trees that have multiple sculptures on it, and how they work together and kind of talk to each other within the trees.
My second question, when did you install them, and how did it feel to bring people through today for the first time?
I installed the majority of them in mid-April, and recently a few more. We installed about 5 pieces in the past few days. And it feels incredible to share them with everyone. Yeah, it's wonderful. Really happy. It will be at LongHouse through the end of the year, through the end of December at least. Yeah. Yeah, so come on over.
Perfect.